swept across southern China over the weekend, bringing destructive winds, torrential rainfall, dangerous flash flooding, and widespread disruption. Emergency crews worked around the clock as entire neighborhoods faced severe weather conditions. Fallen trees blocked roads, rivers rapidly overflowed their banks, and transportation networks struggled to cope with the powerful storm system. The dangerous weather developed over the South China Sea before moving toward the Chinese coastline. Meteorologists closely monitored the rapidly evolving storm as it intensified, warning residents to prepare for damaging wind gusts, heavy rain, flooding, and the possibility of landslides in mountainous regions. Authorities issued weather alerts across several provinces, while emergency response teams remained on standby throughout the affected areas. Forecasts indicated that the system would bring extremely heavy rainfall and powerful coastal winds to southern China during the weekend. As the outer rain bands reached land, skies quickly darkened and visibility dropped dramatically. Sheets of rain reduced visibility to only a few meters, while strong wind gusts shook buildings, power lines, and trees. Streets that had been dry only minutes earlier transformed into fast-moving rivers, carrying debris through cities and systems. Videos recorded by local residents quickly spread across social media, showing dramatic scenes of nature's power. Cameras captured trees bending under intense winds, vehicles struggling through flooded roads, large waves crashing against coastal barriers, and emergency responders helping residents reach safer locations. The remarkable footage illustrated just how rapidly weather conditions changed during the storm. Emergency officials urged people to remain indoors, avoid unnecessary travel, and stay away from rivers, flooded underpasses, and coastal areas where dangerous waves continued to build. Rescue crews monitored flood-prone districts, while engineers inspected bridges, drainage systems, and critical infrastructure for possible damage. The combination of saturated ground and continuous rainfall created ideal conditions for flash flooding. Water accumulated faster than drainage systems could remove it, causing intersections, parking lots, residential streets, and underground passages to become submerged within a short period of time. Drivers encountered rapidly rising water levels, forcing many vehicles to stop or turn around before entering flooded roads. Meteorologists explained that warm ocean temperatures supplied enormous amounts of moisture into the atmosphere. As the storm moved inland, powerful rain bands repeatedly crossed the same locations, producing prolonged downpours capable of overwhelming rivers and urban drainage systems. This phenomenon significantly increased the risk of flooding across multiple provinces. Authorities also warned about secondary hazards, including mudslides and landslides in mountainous communities, where steep terrain combined with saturated soil created unstable conditions. Residents living near hillsides were advised to remain alert for unusual ground movement, falling rocks, or rapidly changing water flow. Across the region, airports monitored changing weather conditions, while transportation officials adjusted schedules as necessary to protect passenger safety. Ferry operations in some coastal locations were suspended due to rough seas, while fishing vessels sought shelter before the strongest winds arrived. Emergency management agencies coordinated closely with meteorological services to distribute updated forecasts and public safety information. International news organizations, including CNN, BBC News, Reuters, Associated Press, Al Jazeera, Sky News, ABC News, CBS News, NBC News, CGTN, and Bloomberg, continued monitoring the development situation as severe weather affected millions of people across southern China. Weather experts noted that southern China frequently experiences tropical cyclones during the warm season, but each storm follows a unique path and produces different impacts depending on terrain, rainfall intensity, storm speed, and local geography. Even when wind speeds begin to weaken after landfall, the threat from flooding often continues for many hours or even several days as rivers respond to the enormous amount of rainfall. Throughout the weekend, emergency operations remained active as officials continued monitoring rainfall totals, river levels, reservoirs, and weather radar. Residents stayed informed through official weather bulletins, while rescue personnel prepared for additional calls as the storm system slowly progressed farther inland. The dramatic scenes recorded on camera, flooded streets, bending palm trees, crashing waves, emergency vehicles navigating deep water, and relentless rainfall, serve as another reminder of the incredible force of extreme weather and the importance of early warnings, emergency preparedness, and community response during natural disasters. As the storm pushed farther inland, conditions continued to deteriorate across multiple regions of southern China. Powerful rain bands repeatedly swept across cities and rural communities, delivering hours of relentless rainfall. Meteorologists observed that the slow movement of the storm allowed enormous amounts of moisture to remain concentrated over the same areas, dramatically increasing the risk of dangerous flash floods and overflowing rivers. Throughout the day, emergency weather alerts remained in effect as authorities closely monitored rainfall totals, river gauges, reservoirs, and mountain slopes vulnerable to landslides. Local emergency management agencies coordinated with firefighters, rescue teams, medical personnel, and transportation officials to respond quickly wherever dangerous situations developed. Residents described hearing the roar of the wind long before the strongest rain arrived. Trees swayed violently as powerful gusts raced through neighborhoods, scattering branches, signs, roofing materials, and lightweight objects across streets. In coastal districts, large waves pounded seawalls, while rough surf created hazardous conditions along beaches and canals. Officials urged everyone to stay well away from the shoreline until conditions improved. Across urban centers, heavy rainfall overwhelmed drainage systems. Water rapidly filled intersections, parking garages, pedestrian tunnels, and low-lying roads. Vehicles became stranded after attempting to cross flooded streets where water depths increased within minutes. Emergency responders walked carefully to reach trapped motorists while encouraging drivers never to underestimate moving floodwater. Thousands of residents followed official advice by remaining indoors as the storm reached its peak intensity. Families monitored weather updates through television, radio, mobile alerts, and emergency navigation systems, while rescue agencies continued operating around the clock. Schools in several affected areas adjusted schedules, and many outdoor events were postponed because of dangerous weather conditions. The dramatic weather quickly attracted worldwide attention. Videos filmed by eyewitnesses showed streets transformed into rivers, powerful wind gusts bending large trees nearly to the ground, sheets of rain reducing visibility to almost zero, and rescue crews navigating flooded neighborhoods. These remarkable scenes quickly became some of the most widely shared examples of extreme weather on the internet, highlighting the raw power of nature. Helicopter footage revealed swollen rivers carrying muddy water downstream, while flood control infrastructure operated continuously to manage rising water levels. Engineers closely inspected dams, levees, bridges, and flood barriers to ensure public safety as the storm system continued moving through the region. Weather specialists explain that tropical systems often produce their greatest threat not only through strong winds, but through prolonged rainfall. Even after the center of the storm weakens, saturated ground can no longer absorb additional rain. This significantly increases the possibility of flash flooding, river flooding, debris flows, and landslides hours after the strongest winds have passed. In mountainous communities, rescue teams remain especially alert. Heavy rain falling on steep slopes loosened soil and rocks, creating unstable conditions. Authorities advised residents living near hillsides to evacuate if necessary and to report any unusual ground movement immediately. Power companies dispatched repair crews as scattered outages affected parts of the storm zone. Strong wind gusts occasionally brought down tree limbs that damaged electrical infrastructure. Restoration teams worked whenever weather conditions allowed safe
风
access
好
to
大啊，
affected
吹
areas,
飞了，凳子
while
都吹到外
emergency
面去了。
generators supplied electricity to critical facilities and railways. Experts
风大
emphasized
哦！
that climate patterns capable of producing heavier rainfall events have increased concern among meteorologists worldwide. Although every tropical cyclone develops differently, warmer oceans can provide additional atmospheric moisture, allowing storms to produce exceptional rainfall over relatively short periods.
哦哟，
Scientists continue studying these evolving weather patterns to improve forecasting accuracy and strengthen disaster preparedness. International news organizations, including CNN, BBC News, Reuters, Associated Press, Bloomberg, ABC News, NBC News, CBS News, Sky News, Al Jazeera, and CGTN continued providing updates as emergency operations unfolded across southern China.
我操！
Weather analysts examined satellite imagery, Doppler radar, rainfall estimates, and forecast models to track the movement of the storm and anticipate where the next bands of intense rain might develop.